Hello, I'm going to be showing you how to make mincemeat of the type that you put in a mince pie, or lots of other places. Now hopefully you'll have a little bit of apple puree in your freezer that you made earlier in the season. If not, you're going to have to go out, get yourself some apples and make some apple puree because it's the base of this. So here I've got about 1.25 kilos of apple puree, which I'm just going to stick into a very, very large bowl. Doesn't look very appealing at the moment. Now next, I'm going to add the main thing that makes it feel mincemeaty, Christmassy, which is all the dried fruit. And I do a 1-to-1 ratio of apple puree to dried fruit. And you can put in anything you like. In here I've got raisins, sultanas, chopped dates, that's these slightly lighter ones, and currants. You could also put in chopped figs, chopped apricots, dried cranberries, mixed peel. We don't like mixed peel in our family, so that one's a firm no-no, but the others, it's just because I haven't got them in the cupboard today, but happily put them in another day. So I'm just going to tip all of those in. And as I said, it's about a 1-to-1 ratio. Next, you want some sugar. And that's not actually particularly for the flavour because it's already quite sweet, but sugar increases the keeping qualities of things. It's used as a preservative, that's why jams last for a long time and honey lasts forever and all that sort of stuff. So here I've got 250 grams of organic demerara sugar. All of these ingredients are organic, by the way. So in it goes. God, that's quite shocking. Okay, next some spices. So ground cloves are going in next. And I'm very, vague cook, but I think, decent amount of ground cloves, probably about a teaspoonful. Ginger going in next. This ginger's great because we've got a refill shop down the road and you can refill all your spices. It's absolutely terrific. Same goes for the cinnamon. I'm going to put in slightly less cinnamon because it can overpower, so probably about a teaspoonful of cinnamon. Now here's a random ingredient, but I think it really makes it, and that is orange marmalade. So I'm going to put in about 200 grams. I'm not sure what that is to look at, so I'm just going to put my scales on. This one's nice and set. There we are, that's 217, but that's near enough for me. A nice touch is some orange zest. You can't really overdo it on the orange zest. I've got one orange in the house, so that's what's going in. But 4 wouldn't be too many. And that's very nice and easy. Oh, it smells amazing. And then I want something liquidy before I put the alcohol in to soften up, plumpen up all the dried fruit. So, add a knife. I'm going to put the juice of this orange in. You could use hot tea if you wanted, Earl Grey, steeped Earl Grey tea, normal tea, or even an infusion like ginger, or I like ginger and licorice root or fennel. Any of those would be fine. You just want a nice tasting liquid. If you're really desperate, you can just use water, it's fine. It's mainly there for texture rather than flavour. There we are. Always remember to take the zest off before you cut your orange in half to do the juicing. In it goes. I'm just going to add a bit of extra water. Like I said, just for the texture of it. Now, we are a family of nut lovers, but we're using our mincemeat for some pretty public things. We've got loads of people coming over the next few weeks and a fair and all sorts, so I'm not putting any nuts into my mincemeat, but you could put in any chopped nut you like. Chopped walnuts, pecans, almonds, anything you like. pine nuts even, if you wanted, to make it a little bit more sort of Middle Eastern. But I'm not going to risk it with all those people around. And you might notice that I haven't put any suet in of any sort, or even any butter. There's no added fat in here. And I just really don't think it needs it. It doesn't need it from a preserving point of view, because we'll have plenty of sugar and we're going to have alcohol later. And it doesn't need it from a taste point of view or texture. It's delicious. It's damp, it's moist. It doesn't need it. So I think that makes it quite a good mincemeat, really. So you get to this stage, it's just all in one, looking pretty messy. And then just give it a beat. Now one last thing I'm going to put in, which seems a bit random, I'm actually going to put in a little bit of black pepper and grate it over the top, and a tiny bit of salt. I always put a little bit of salt into all my sweet cooking. Weirdly, it just brings out the flavour a bit more, livens it up. Beat all this up. And with the orange marmalade, if you didn't have any, it didn't really matter. Once I made a batch with medlar jelly, and you could use a jam if you wanted. The nice thing about mincemeat is it's very versatile and variable, and you can make it your own. And actually, for the apple puree base, if you don't have an apple tree but you do have a plum tree, you could use plum puree. Absolutely delicious. Right, and there you go for now. All mixed together, looking like, well, not looking the nicest, let's be honest. So I'm going to leave that for a good few hours or overnight for the fruit to plump up and everything to sort of get to know each other. And then I shall be putting it into a dish in the oven, but we'll come back to that. All right. I've popped the mincemeat into 2 dishes, just there, about half full, just over, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to stick them in the oven at 130 degrees for 2 or 3 hours, probably closer to 2. All right, here they are straight out of the oven. Can you hear that bubbling? Oh, I wish I could convey a smell because it's unbelievably delicious in here. So I'm just going to take my brandy and do a liberal glug over the top. It forms a bit of a crust, so you mix it in. And then you just put it straight into jars and put the lid on while they're piping hot, fill them right to the top, and they will store in the cupboard. They say cool and dark, I don't know what difference the light makes, but definitely a cool place, but they don't need to be in the fridge. And they'll keep forever. Enjoy it. Here you go, finished product.